Bondi Bunnies has a real narrative to it. I noticed some of the names you had on them.
Oh yes.
Like one of them was waiting for a lift, and the other one was waiting for a drink, which I found really funny because it just was like looking at both of those.
Yes.
And there was a little sort of hidden meaning, sort of like they're waiting for something. These bunnies.
Something else.
And you put them in different scenes and stuff.
Yes.
And to me, that actually gave the bunnies a bit of a personality and a bit of a life beyond the picture, which I found really lovely. That's the sort of thing that I think a lot of people would have found pleasure out of last night. Is these bunnies are actually putting quite a strong real setting.
Yes.
But the bunnies themselves are really from the imagination, and they've popped out into Bondi and they're actually having lives. It's really, really nice to see.
Yeah, and one of the audience members, she approached me at the end and said, because I mentioned I was going to do a children's book next year, and she said, is it going to feature the Bondi Bunnies? That would make a great children's book story. And I said, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it will go any further, or if it's just a one-off and that's served its purpose, and I guess a bit like musicians when people say, we like your old stuff, keep doing your old stuff, but sometimes you have to move on to new projects. And so it's just one of those things.
It's a process of like wanting to evolve yourself all the time, and perhaps the Bondi Bunnies are a building block to something.
Could be
something later on.
Not close to that. But it just at the moment I'm not sure.
Putting those two different styles together, like the architecture and the bunnies with their clothing and their sort of personal apparel. I mean, one of them was wearing that big shawl, which I found really lovely to look at, and she was waiting for a drink in the bar. Do you kind of get a sense of connection with them? Like, do you feel like they're like a little bit of magic in them coming through you and wanting to express themselves through you and your choices of the paper and the colours and stuff like that? You get sort of like a little bit attached to them.
You do, and I think, especially with cartooning, I think the character of that person or that animal, it does something about oozes out, and you feel their character and you're making it. But and as I was using I used the brush and the ink to create, and I think even just using that medium was a nice way of giving them expression. But I do get it. I guess as I'm making them, I do feel that exactly how you put it perfectly. And and then once they're done, and then they're put in their settings, then it gives that another sort of dimension, like there's sort of a context for them, sort of put them in their homes. And I think the whole experience of creating something so wonderful that you've made it, that you've created this imaginary world or whatever you want to call it, but there's something special about that for sure. That's why so many people are attracted to the arts, because we've got this real world, well, whether it's real or not, this world that we live in, but then there's this other world
that people are making from their imaginations and stuff, and we can actually sort of step into their minds in a sense and their imaginations and get a feel for what they're living inside themselves.
It's not just a dream in our heads.
No.
When I explained to you I had a dream last night, you weren't there. But this is one way of expressing it, of my images in my mind. And you'll be able to enjoy that by seeing it.
So you can take a little journey into your world through your art. I think that's really a lovely gift to give people, don't you?